The lighting is just something that we're going to have to deal with. Now, before you could figure out in future videos, I will be doing maybe the next couple of videos from this direct spot at this direct moment. But you're not going to be able to see those videos until I post them up. Why? Maybe just to get ahead of the game a little bit. Trying to compete with the other competition that I have with this channel, such as MVP Network, Stillwater Sports Cards, maybe even Mason Talks sometimes. So, as you can see by this thumbnail, I'm going to preview the Pac-12 conference today. In fact, I'll preview a lot of conferences today, except you're not going to see them today. The only one you're going to see today is the Pac-12, unless you look at it tomorrow or 2 weeks from now. Now let's start with the North. At the bottom of the Pac-12 North, I have Oregon State. Now, Oregon State has some talented recruits that they've had over the past couple of years under head coach Mike Riley, who's now the head coach for Nebraska. But still, Oregon State will not make it to a bowl game. Moving on, number 5, Washington. Yeah, Washington's kind of a team that they'll do good ones. They'll do fairly decent one year, and then the next year they'll go 4-8. They'll have a decent year, then go 4-8. Decent year, 4-8. Number 4, I have California Golden Bears. Now, this could very well possibly be a rebuilding year, as they need a new quarterback due to the departure of Jared Goff. Now, it was reported last week that former Texas Tech quarterback Davis Webb is transferring there, and he'll be eligible to play this season. So I would imagine that he'd be the starter this year for the Golden Bears, but truthfully, anything goes in college football. At number 3, I have the Oregon Ducks. Now, Oregon really struggled to find their old identity last season. It was a rebuilding year last year with the departure of Marcus Mariota. They had a 38-0 lead in their bowl game against TCU last January, or back in January. But they blew that because Vernon Adams went down. And clearly, Oregon has just been relying on FCS transfers the last handful of seasons, last season and this one. So, I don't think Oregon will do bad. I'm going to say Oregon does 8-4, but the best they can do, in my opinion, is 9-3. Number 2, I am boldly predicting Washington State to finish second in the Pac-12 North. Washington State did pretty well last season. They almost beat Stanford. They just couldn't convert. They just couldn't get a touchdown out of the 5 field goals they had in that game. And of course, winning the Pac-12 North, I had the Stanford Cardinals. Although, there's no more Kevin Hogan. There's no more Blake Martinez on defense. There's no more Austin Hooper, not Austin Harper. However, there is still Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, who will most likely be in the Heisman race, maybe even a Heisman finalist again this season. But if you do not remember my ACC video, I'll put the link in the description box below, and you can read who I have winning the Heisman. You can listen to who I have winning the Heisman Trophy this season. So there's the North. On to the South. In the South at the bottom, I have Colorado. Colorado hasn't done good in a while. Moving on to number 5 at Arizona State. Bunch of question marks. They have no idea who's going to be the quarterback. Kind of like Utah at number 4. There's no more Devontae Booker either, so Utah's going to have to rebuild. Number 3, I'm going to strongly pick Arizona, even though there's no more Scooby Wright on defense. They still have some offensive players coming back, though. At number 2, I have USC. And the reason why I've been finishing second is because I am losing to UCLA, who will eventually win the Pac-12 South. Because UCLA is looking like a really strong team, They have Josh Rosen as a sophomore now. And I feel like he can have some strong performances maybe early in the season. He can probably put UCLA in playoff conversation, especially with that opener against Texas A&M on September the 5th, or whenever the first week is, especially against that scary defense with Myles Garrett and Deshaun Hall. If he can maybe get some passes, get some runs right by them, he could lead that team to not only the victory, but maybe in conversations of making the college football playoff. And since we have the Pac-12 championship game now between Stanford and UCLA, I have Stanford winning that. I just think that's a Christian McCaffrey breakout game, and I would like Stanford to win that one. Well, that's going to do it for your Pac-12 preview. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Also, subscribe. I've gained a lot of subscribers the last couple of days. I've hit the 300 mark, which I not at all expected. 300 subscribers in the first 9 months. So that means a lot. Also, follow my sports account, JB Talks Sports. And that's going to do it. Have a great day, everyone.